Throughout the 1990s, Monday night served as a primetime battlefield, a transformed professional wrestling into sports entertainment. Ted Turner's WCW took on Vince McMahon's WWE for ratings supremacy at the risk of extinction, as innovation and evolution paved the way for a king to be crowned. Mick Foley, a tale unlike any other.
Bang, bang!
Overcoming doubters, he turned skeptics into believers. He would sacrifice his body for his passion, and in turn, change the course of WWE history. This is the Monday Night War.
Have a nice day! Hogan has betrayed
I want to congratulate World Championship Wrestling for continuing the tradition of bringing action-packed wrestling excitement to TBS.
In the early 1990s, media mogul Ted Turner acquired World Championship Wrestling, a traditional Southern-based sports entertainment promotion.
Ted Turner knew what drew eyeballs to his superstation, and by far the highest ratings were garnered by WCW.
Back in the old days, wrestling did huge on TBS to a second to none in the performance department. It was unbelievable. The roster was deep, and it was strong, and it was very talented.
Among the many established veterans on Ted Turner's roster was a distinctive young talent named Mick Foley, whose on-air persona, Cactus Jack, did not fit the typical sports entertainment character mold.
The fans know the Cactus Jack story, and they like it. It's a story based on brutality.
I was realistic enough to realize that I wasn't going to be somebody that a wrestling company was built around. I had my own unique style, but I was able to blend it in with other people's styles so that I could have a very good match with just about anybody.
Mick Foley developed a daredevil style in World Championship Wrestling. It would set him apart from the rest of the WCW roster.
As I watched him, not only in the ring, but out of the ring, I actually thought the guy was out of his mind.
He took some crazy falls, and people were saying he really doesn't feel any pain.
Cactus had a unique style with the way he would take a fall or do something that was different than any other wrestler at that point.
Cactus Jack was simply an aspiring artist, so I had to be taught lessons before I could teach them myself.
But despite Cactus Jack's best efforts, WCW's executive producer Eric Bischoff was taking the company in a new direction, one that did not include Mick Foley.
WCW was just good at taking stars that were already made and putting them to work. So they wouldn't see the value of Mick Foley.
He was so irrelevant in WCW. He didn't have the right look. It was just not the right time.
Mick Foley as Cactus Jack was very creatively stifled in WCW. All WCW wanted him to do was be a human crash test dummy.
Every wrestler and every fan had the same question. How long can he last? How long can he take it?
I really thought the dawning of the Eric Bischoff era would have big things in store for me. And when that didn't happen, I realized if I wanted to have a long career in the business that I needed to leave.
World Championship Wrestling would move ahead without Foley's unorthodox talents. The organization was focused on establishing themselves as a more nationally recognized promotion. Since its inception, Turner's WCW had been in the shadows of Vince McMahon's industry-leading WWE, which by June of 1994 had spent over a year in prime time thanks to the launch of their innovative flagship show, Monday Night Raw. Meanwhile, Mick Foley would find a home in Extreme Championship Wrestling, an independent organization that celebrated an alternative hardcore style.
Cactus! This is the Cactus clothesline, and that's how he lost half an ear in Germany!
Everyone knows him in the ECW era as this guy that could take anything. Any kind of pain, he could withstand it. Pain that isn't supposed to be endured by a human being.
Cactus is driven face first into that garbage can!
The Cactus Jack character was thriving in Extreme Championship Wrestling's violent culture, but Mick Foley's act was no longer unique. Having blended into his surroundings, Foley would need to find another way to stand out from the rest of the ECW roster.
Mick became a hardcore hero, but deep down Mick wanted something more. Mick wanted to do something that would have everyone talking.
ECW fans were notorious for their bloodlust. But in order to reinvent himself, Mick Foley would turn his back on the hardcore style.
Go ahead, Cactus! Kill yourself for us! Do bad things to your body so that you won't live, but we can say he's hardcore!
Mick purposely wouldn't give the fans what they wanted and would use headlocks and wrist locks and put on the most boring matches possible to make the fans irate.
Cactus trying desperately not to give the fans here in the ECW their money's worth.
By expanding his artistic originality, Mick Foley added layers to what had previously been a fairly one-dimensional character.
I just thought, I'm systematically going to remove everything they like about me. So if I had the long hair for many years, I tied it up in a neat ponytail.
I'm hardcore! I'm hardcore!
It was terribly risky for Mick. There was no turning back once he did that.
Isn't that right, Charlie? ECW! ECW! How about you, Charlie? ECW! ECW!
While Mick Foley was progressing in ECW, World Championship Wrestling had launched their own primetime show, Monday Nitro, in September of 1995, going head-to-head with WWE's Monday Night Raw.
The #1 wrestling program anywhere in the world! World Championship Wrestling! Live Nitro!
By January of 1996, the two flagship shows were trading victories in the cable television ratings. Vince McMahon needed to develop new talent in order to retain his company's momentum against his competition.
I wasn't enamored at all by bringing Cactus Jack in. I looked at him in terms of he didn't have any talent. You know, all I could do was fall off of things and be reckless and things of that nature.
Talking to Vince McMahon about it, I sold him that I believe Mick was the kind of person that we could reinvent him a little bit with our own creativity.
Mick Foley was poised to sign with WWE in January of 1996, providing Vince McMahon with a new superstar. But the majority of Monday Night Raw's programming featured a formula of over-the-top characters that failed to connect with a primetime audience.
It felt like there was a point where we were insulting people's intelligence and giving them a product that was passé, like the era of a wrestler that is a clown is over.
Wait a minute, what? Zeke has a bouquet of flowers, presenting it, yes, to Louise. How about that?
When Mick Foley was brought into WWE, the concept for his character was underwhelming.
Mr. McMahon grudgingly accepted me, but not as Cactus Jack. One of the people in the creative department let it slide to me that my name was going to be Mason, the Mutilator. And when I met with Mr. McMahon, I said, what if I called myself Mankind? And he said, I'm not sure I understand. I said, I could talk about the destruction of mankind. Therefore, I'm talking about not only myself as a wrestler, but in a larger sense, the entire human population. And he said, I like that.
Foley's Mankind persona was initially presented through a series of vignettes that showed viewers the type of sick and twisted character he would portray.
And you're about to find out how ugly Mankind can really be!
The vignettes in the dungeon with the rats, it was so different and dark.
You understand me, don't you, George? You understand that mankind is in pain. Mankind is in agony.
I wasn't particularly fond of rats, but I was not going to let that step in the way of my employment. And so I learned to like the little guy.
The time has come to relieve that pain, which will be better for me, but not so enjoyable for all of you.
I love the Mankind vignettes. I love the fact of sitting in that boiler room rocking back and forth. It was a really sadistic character. Foley portrayed that lunatic as good as anybody.
Coming down the aisle, when Foley made his in-ring debut in April of 1996. Mankind! The bizarre Mankind was a complex figure for the audience to digest.
He was not the guy coming out in trunks and muscled up. He looked different. He was deep and he was dark.
I just remember thinking, like, this is a monster. And it just made me uneasy to watch him. He would rip his own hair out.
Try to have a nice day.
He would dive into that character, and then it got brutal. It got physical.
These two men in a few moments are going to be beating each other senseless in a boiler room.
The boiler room is such a different environment to have a match. For fans, it was very different, and it was cool.
The initial returns of Mankind were promising, but there was still one person within WWE who was less than impressed with Mick Foley's character.
As it turned out, the only person who did not like it was the one person who counted. Mr. McMahon was not a big fan.
This deranged idiot! Look what he's doing to that casket!
And it took me quite a while to actually win him over.
As Foley struggled to satisfy Vince McMahon, World Championship Wrestling had found the formula for success. WCW had signed former WWE superstars and grouped them together to form the rebellious New World Order faction.
Is the only way to go.
Creating true-to-life characters geared towards an older demographic.
I literally did everything that I could do to be different in the WWE. Their characters are very animated and very cartoonish. I'm going to make mine very real, very organic.
Yes! Oh! Hogan! Where's the rest of them? We have got chaos going on here!
The NWO was such a revolutionary faction because it turned the universe upside down. It was completely uprooting the product and designing something totally new.
We created a huge amount of positive momentum. And all of a sudden our numbers took off and we reigned and we ruled the wrestling world in the ratings.
We dared this off master the universe, trillionaire Ted. We are on a roll, man.
The popularity of the New World Order helped World Championship Wrestling surge ahead in the primetime ratings. By the spring of 1997, Monday Nitro was in the middle of what would become an 84-week winning streak. WWE needed to embrace more realistic personas to keep pace with WCW, and would pull back the curtain on their eccentric superstar to reveal the man behind the mask.
You couldn't truly be a superstar in WWE until Vince McMahon became a fan personally. Mr. McMahon gave the specific speech where he admitted that some of the things that had worked in the past, some of the more cartoonish characters, were not going to work in the present era. If characters were going to be successful, they needed to be extensions of themselves. And for me, that didn't happen until I did a series of interviews with Jim Ross.
I'm going to take you on a different kind of odyssey. A 26-year journey of a young boy named Mick Foley. Boyhood dreams turned into a living hell.
What do you think the biggest misconceptions are that the WWF fans have as it relates to Mankind?
I'm a bad person. Jimmy, there's plenty of good reasons to hate me. I just don't want people to hate me for untruths and partial truths and rumors.
The JR interviews with Mankind were some of the most entertaining and interesting things I've ever seen on WWE TV.
Other people in their cliques for lack of a better word, they would gang up on me because I was different, because I acted different, looked different.
As a backdrop for the interview, Mankind used Foley's own personal experiences to reveal the inner workings of his warped mind. This groundbreaking form of character development gave fans a glimpse into a superstar's psyche like never before.
I was bleeding, I was in pain, and I was loving it because I felt like I'd finally found something in my life that I could do better than everybody else. Handle pain.
This character all of a sudden became very human. He became this guy who wanted nothing more than to be a wrestler since he was a kid.
Holy unbelievable!
It was the first character that you actually got to see the real life of. A legitimate background story. They had videotape of it.
Mick, tell us about the tape. Let's see it. Well, it's too good not to use. You don't suggest to some kid, hey, if you want to get WWE, jump off your porch a few times and tape it, and you might get a job. It don't work that way. But we used it because he survived it, and it fit the character.
Through his documented past, Mick Foley's desire for sports entertainment shone through. His home movies featured a laid-back Lothario, Dude Love, the teenage Foley's original alter ego.
I was not Mick Foley. Sure as hell wasn't Mankind. I was Dude Love.
We are gonna tear this rotten apple right down to its stinking New York core.
He was exactly who I thought I was going to be as a sports entertainer. I would actually go out with that wig and with the headband, you know. I was more comfortable talking to women. I portrayed a character. I was cooler.
Fame, honor, fortune, glory, to destroy.
Mick Foley's recounting of his past would span across 5 Monday Night Raw telecasts. The added realism blurred the lines between fact and fiction, and WWE fans sympathized with the schizophrenic superstar.
What is it about pain that I love? I feel just like every other person. You see that? It hurts. When my little boy says, Daddy, I want to play ball, and I can't do it. Is that where the fun starts?
Wow, maybe this guy has a reason that he is the way he is.
All you've done to people is mislead them and let them think that I'm having a time of my goddamn life when I'm in pain.
You kind of understand and you feel for him, and you're like, you know what? What's going on? Why am I feeling for this psychopath?
Each week, I could feel the crowd interest growing. I mean, I was turned, as they say in wrestling, into a good guy without actually changing. People just started cheering me because they enjoyed those interviews.
Fans' interest were piqued by the mysterious Mankind, and Vince McMahon's opinion of Mick Foley began to change.
At about the 20-minute mark, we had to take just a short break, and I heard Mr. McMahon, who I didn't even know was there, say, "This is fabulous."
Don't you look at me with that smug look. You make me sick. A man of integrity. I'm going to smack
What
you.
he did that night in his performance, it couldn't have worked out any better. Vince just became enamored, and his creative juices started flowing.
Todd Millimaker's like a smart guy. He's articulate, a little disheveled, but very articulate, and I was able to work with him and then develop his talent.
Vince had become aware that my actual real life may have been more interesting than the fictional one I created as Mankind. He was like, "Hey, pal, how'd you like to be Dude Love?" And I went, like, for a day? And he was like, "How about from now on?" There was a genuine sense of joy when our universe realized that the guy they were seeing was the same Dude Love in the interview with Jim Ross.
Dude
12 really blew my mind when that happened. It was pretty cool to see that Mick Foley got to live out his childhood dream and this childhood character he came up with.
By portraying his own fictional persona, Foley had created a third face for himself that was far different from his previous roles in sports entertainment.
I thought it was really, really cool how much range he had. You know, that you can go from a psychotic character to a fun-loving guy.
And the dudeness, look at him! He is something else, Dude Love!
In the same way that Mankind was a departure from Cactus Jack, Dude Love was a pretty vast departure from Mankind, becoming that kind of hip, but not so hip. 2/3 as cool as he thought he was. Dude Love.
You can cut the music, baby, because the party is all over! Lord have mercy!
It was really a great time to be alive during the Summer of Love, 1997. I was very thankful for having had the chance to bring that character to life.
Dude Love wasn't the only blast from the past to appear on Monday Night Raw.
Dude Love!
In a revolutionary backstage interview, Mick Foley let all of his personas decide which incarnation would compete in a Falls Count Anywhere match.
Have mercy, Hunter, and especially your finer China. I know what you must be thinking. Dude, what are you doing back here when you should be out there kicking some heavy-duty booty all over the garden? Well, you see, Falls Count Anywhere, that's not exactly my bag, baby. But I know somebody, Daddy, whose bag it indeed is. Let's bring him out right now. Oh, Mankind, my main mandible up high, big man. Down, oh, you're too slow. Mankind, good to have you at the Love Shack.
People bought it because, you know, people believed that he was schizophrenic. You know, people thought, man, this guy's nuts. He's got these different personalities and he's interviewing himself.
As much as I've dreamed about destroying Hunter Hearst Helmsley,
I know you have.
as many horrible things as I'd like to do to him,
I know you can.
I know someone who dreams about it even more.
Who is it, Manny?
Someone who's willing to do even worse things than I am.
Oh, no. Are you thinking what I think you're thinking?
I think I am thinking what you think I think you're thinking.
Cactus Jack, you know, like, it's going to be Cactus Jack. He's going to be Cactus Jack. He needs to be Cactus Jack.
Here he comes. Where is he? Cactus Jack. He's back. Somebody snipe me. I'm finally dead.
Don't please. It might be the darkest day of your life.
I remember being enchanted by all three characters separately, so to like have them all kind of come together at once was really strange but cool.
It was the first and only time all three of Foley's characters would simultaneously share the screen.
And Mrs. Foley's little boy. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Have mercy.
And the WWE audience was formally introduced to the infamous Cactus Jack.
Cactus Jack, the other alter ego of Mick Foley. Yes, this Mankind and Dude Love. And we've never seen Cactus Jack in the WWF until tonight.
I loved it when Cactus Jack was never brought into the fold because Cactus Jack is only known for violent, sadistic, brawling, kind of thing that makes the hair stand up on the back of your neck. You know, you don't know what you're going to see.
Cactus Jack is as hardcore as anybody could ever be.
Mr. McMahon had his reservations as to how many people would actually know or care about Cactus Jack. And I like to think that when there was that instant roar of the crowd, that little light bulb went up over Vince's head when he heard that roar and thought, maybe I misjudged that particular character's popularity.
Fans' approval of Cactus Jack could not be ignored, and Vince McMahon had grown to embrace all three of Foley's personas.
All the characters that he was, three different characters for us, all of which were a success. That's a credit to Mick and his talent.
Vince McMahon's appreciation for Mick Foley's versatility was a microcosm of a company-wide change in direction. WWE was embarking on what would become known as the Attitude Era, a time when edgier talents and storylines began pushing the boundaries of sports entertainment.
I gotta come in again! Now the money shines!
In that Attitude Era,
everybody's having fun because now everybody gets turned loose.
Give me a hell yeah!
By the spring of 1998, Monday Night Raw had snapped Monday Nitro's 84-week head-to-head winning streak. And the two battled back and forth in the ratings. Several superstars emerged at the forefront of WWE's revolution. But as these personas were thriving, Mick Foley was fading into the background.
By the time the middle of 98 rolled around, I'd been Cactus Jack, I'd been Dude Love, and when I went back to being Mankind, it felt flat. It felt like the Attitude Era was passing me by.
In order to stay relevant, Mankind's character would need to return to his hardcore roots. A Hell in a Cell match against The Undertaker would provide Mick Foley with the perfect opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is the Hell in the Cell match!
I was originally very surprised. I didn't honestly think that my position at the time merited such a big match. And it turned out to be, not only the biggest match of my career, but the only match that people seem to remember me by.
Let's do that chair on top of the cage. What's he doing?
Mick's one of those guys that likes to see what he can do and what he can't do and what he can get away with. Mick's that kind of guy. He's wrestling.
Mankind is climbing the cage. You're supposed to start out inside the cage, isn't he?
Mr. McMahon knew that I wanted to go up on the top of the cell and wanted to be sure that I was comfortable with the idea of being up there. I told a little bit of a white lie that I had no problem with it. The truth is, when I did reach the top, my initial feeling, I'm sorry if I'm ruining people's image of me, but it was, you've got to be kidding me.
All the things he lost, I think he misses his mind the most. Oh, here we go! The pain that these two men are preparing to endure is inhuman. Now they will put their bodies on the line here. And the Undertaker says, he's doing it! You want me up there? You want to come up there and fight? I'm going to come up and whip your butt. Oh my God. And apparently Hell in a Cell match is officially underway.
They're standing on top of that cage. No, wouldn't it be cool if, one of them fell off of it and, it's not going to happen. And then all of a sudden, there goes Mick.
It was almost like in slow motion, and he starts to kind of go over, you're like, no way. Now he's going to catch himself. Oh my God, he's falling. He's falling.
You hear Jim Ross, oh my God, he's broken in half. Mankind was crazy, and I don't know how he's still alive to this day.
We need doctors out here. If somebody can get off their butt in the back and get some people out here.
People ask the question, did you know what was coming? Absolutely not. I'm thinking that they're just going to get close to the edge and scare the heck out of us. And then when Foley's big 300-pound body starts going through the air, it was frightening.
Watching him come right into the table, 3 feet away from us, I really thought that he was dead.
That cage is 16 feet high.
Certainly there was no way that I could be thrown off that structure and survive. And yet I was, and I did.
Once again, he had proved his passion for sports entertainment at the expense of his body.
It was spectacular and amazing and incredible, and you'd never seen anything like it. And then a lot of guys would be like, okay, I'm done now.
Yet, ever the showman, Mick Foley was down, but not out.
Oh my God, this is the toughest man alive.
Are you kidding me? He wants to go back up.
He's insane. He's going to finish this match, though. That's Mick Foley.
That feeling of electricity when people realize this thing wasn't over.
This is absolutely amazing.
It's a high that I can't compare to anything else I've done in my career. My biggest mistake was thinking when I went through that table that the worst of my night was over. And I don't think anybody realized that that would not be the case.
You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding. I think even Undertaker was involved. Like, what?
You just see him fall, and you're just kind of falling the whole time, and he's kind of contorted. The other fall didn't kill him. This one's definitely going to kill him.
Today, wisely so, they'd stop it. You know, at that time we were in uncharted territory.
And everybody was pushing each other to try to get to monitors and looking through the curtain and going, is he moving?
He may have internal, he's got to have internal injuries right here.
I'd seen stars a lot of times. That was the only time I was ever knocked completely unconscious. There was a chair up there that I'd used on The Undertaker earlier in the match that followed me down, hitting me in the face. It knocked out my teeth. Not these two. Those two are already gone a long time ago.
How is he still standing up? I don't have a damn clue.
Jerry Lawler said nobody could get up after that, but he's doing it. But I could barely stand. It wasn't until I was sitting in that corner that the cobwebs started to clear, and that's where the world saw that there was a tooth stuck in my nose.
Oh, my. Oh. And he's smiling. He is smiling.
That shot will live forever. I mean, forever.
He's bleeding out of both ears. He's got a tooth up through his nose. And I'm going, Mick, are you all right? He goes, keep going. I couldn't believe it. He goes, get the tax. I said, get the tax? Get an ambulance. Are you crazy?
People are cheering this, JR. My God. Oh, what a sadistic thing.
He rolls over and he's glistening from head to toe with silver, and it's thumbtacks stuck through his gear and his arms and his face. It was a gruesome, gruesome sight.
No one could have expected the lengths Mick Foley would go to on that illustrious evening in Pittsburgh.
I will never forget what we just witnessed right there.
Even the competition in WCW had to recognize that the bar had been raised to seemingly insurmountable heights.
Mick Foley off the top of the cage. I said, that's it, boys. The run is over. How are you going to top that?
Now, anybody could not admire the effort of Mick Foley is beyond me.
I watched it 1,000 times. It literally changed the business. That was as spectacular as it got.
Look at Mankind. It's almost as if he doesn't want your kidding to leave on the stretcher.
A lot of people in WCW couldn't do that stuff. I was like, well, you ain't beating that one.
Going above and beyond the call of duty, Mick Foley had cemented his legacy in sports entertainment history.
Vince McMahon came up to me after that match and he said, you have no idea how much I appreciate what you did tonight, but I never want to see anything like that again.
That's obviously a chance I wouldn't take now. It certainly helped define an attitude era. It was more spectacular than I thought it was going to be. And when you see something like that, it's like, oh my God, what could have happened? But that's really Mick's M.O.
The heroic Hell in a Cell performance would prove to be a tipping point. His hardcore style had helped lift WWE back to prominence. But all the years of physical abuse were catching up with Mick Foley.
My knees were really starting to bother me. Had a few head injuries at that point. It was pretty clear that this path I had chosen with the really physical stuff was coming to an unfortunate end.
The Attitude Era was allowing the WWE roster to increase their levels of physicality. But the With Mick Foley battered and bruised, he would need to continue to adapt in order to remain relevant.
I'm about to get myself in a state of mental preparation, which is going to make me a very, very ugly person, if you can believe that.
I went the comedy route out of necessity because I couldn't do that stuff anymore.
I sit in boiler rooms because I enjoy the ambiance. I wear a sweaty leather mask because it helps me sell little dolls. I wear a shirt and tie because it looks so damn good.
He was ultra-violent before ultra-violent was everywhere. So then when that happened, he went the opposite direction. Mick's supremely intelligent. Doesn't take himself too seriously. Very self-deprecating. And that makes a difference because then you can get away with so much stuff.
And The Rock is looking for glory. What are you looking for?
Well, Kevin Kelly, I'm looking for an end to world hunger, but I don't really expect to have that happen during this match. But I'm going to overlook the stupidity of this question because I'm used to stupidity all my life.
Mankind's transition was made easier by pairing him with the perfect foil.
Oh, man, I loved the on-screen chemistry with Mr. McMahon.
You don't even know what I'm going to give you, but that's what I'm asking. You've got it.
All right, Vince is this great, larger-than-life over-actor.
God, what are you thinking? I've got plans, damn it. I've got plans.
To be in the room when Vince McMahon is actually playing Twister with Mick Foley.
You want to play games at a time like this? You're being a major party pooper. Get the hell out. Get the hell out. Get the hell out of here. Take this crap with you. Get out. I don't want to play games.
It's just moments like that you never forget.
Vince, it's me.
As the Mankind-McMahon on-screen relationship blossomed, Mick Foley's creativity established him as Monday Night Raw's newest comedy sensation.
Mankind was trying to entertain Vince McMahon.
I brought one other visitor, another special guest.
And he brings out Sacco.
What the hell are you doing? Mr. Sacco! Say hello to Mr. Sacco! Mr. Sacco knows you've been feeling mighty bad, so he's gonna give your boo-boo a big kiss.
You're gonna what?
Hey, no, Mick, please.
A sock. 67-cent sock. Probably one that he had in his drawer that didn't have a match to it. That is dry erase. And he pulled it out, stuck it on and went, Sacco. Bingo, money.
Mr. Sacco was a one-time deal, you know, and then the audience made it big.
Well, I'm not all that concerned about Ken Shamrock at Judgment Day, and if he doesn't like it, well, I've got one word for him. Sacco! Have a nice day!
The same guy that was getting thrown off the cage with his tooth sticking out of his nose was the same guy later to put a sock on and have Mr. Sacco.
There it is, Mr. Sacco! I'm afraid of that. Mr. McMahon is tasting Sacco!
It's always been a unique combination that makes Mick so popular with fans.
Mankind's character transformation had succeeded in lifting him to WWE's main event picture, a spot not normally reserved for the likes of Mick Foley.
That was not Vince McMahon's poster for being the champion of this company. But that didn't matter. That's what the audience wanted. On the other hand, you've got The Rock, the shooting star, the franchise.
Mick Foley's popularity was too big to ignore, leading to one of the biggest nights in sports entertainment history.
The WWF Championship is up for grabs. There's no disqualification. The Rock against Mankind, and the odds are stacked against Mick Foley.
Mick Foley always seemed like such an underdog. He just didn't look like he was going to be successful.
Oh, we got big problems here now!
There's no way Mick Foley's going to be champion.
Mankind, kick to the midsection! Set it up! DDT on the championship!
Mick is so entertaining, everyone loves him, but he's not champion.
Mr. Sacco! He can taste it again! Mr. Sacco!
A young Damian Sandow sat in the crowd and watched it.
The Rock baby out! No disqualification! Yeah, there's Billy Gunn! Billy Gunn on Shamrock!
I have goosebumps just reliving that in my head.
Stone Cold is here! Oh no! Stone Cold is here! The rattlesnake is here! Look out!
I never thought it was in the cards for me to be WWE champion. I didn't realize how much it would mean until I actually heard that 3 count.
Every single person that gets into this business has a dream of being WWE champion.
Mankind has achieved this dream, and the dream of everyone else who's been told you can't do it.
If you wear that title, you're the best at what you do. We hoisted him up like it was nothing. There's goosebumps on top of goosebumps. It's an energy that I wish I could bottle.
The new World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Champion,
The fans felt like they won it. They felt so proud. You could just see and feel how happy Mick was, and you were happy for him.
And the risk of not sounding very cool, I'd like to dedicate this match to my 2 little people at home and say, Mankind did it!
But World Championship Wrestling would not let Mick Foley enjoy his moment of glory. The championship win aired on January 4th, 1999, but had been taped 1 week earlier. WCW had learned the results ahead of time, and in hopes of preventing their viewers from changing the channel, Eric Bischoff had his announce team spoil WWE's shocking turn of events by giving away the conclusion live on Nitro.
I was told to make it sound bad, and I did what I could.
If you're even thinking about changing the channel to our competition, fans do not. Because we understand that Mick Foley, who wrestled here one time as Cactus Jack, is going to win their world title. It's going to put some butts in the seat.
I'm going to do what I'm told. And so I came up with that line, put the butts in the seats, just right off the top of my head, as quickly as I could think of it.
Denigrating that title win, minimizing it, trying to make it feel irrelevant was part and parcel of what I did every time I went on the air, to give away anything that was going on in WWE.
It really felt like they were taking the biggest night of my career and spoiling it. The words were said with such disdain. They were so dismissive, as if I meant nothing in the wrestling business. And it hurt me because I had really worked hard for WCW. And I didn't think it was called for. I thought it was low class. I did not address it until the ratings came in.
People are watching WCW, then they go and they stooge off what's going on the other channel, and it's such big news. Oh, I want to see that title change.
On that night, over 500,000 people switched from Monday Nitro to Monday Night Raw to witness Mick Foley reach the summit of sports entertainment.
What they did do was create awareness for a major moment occurring, and they basically did a promo for us. You guys ought to really be watching WWE, because tonight, believe it or not, Mick Foley, you remember Mick Foley? Mick Foley becomes the WWE champion tonight. Thanks.
When the History Channel does great military blunders, that will be right up there as far as like stupid things to do when it comes to trying to thwart an enemy.
A lot of it had to do with Foley, but I think a lot of it is title switch too. You tip off somebody that they're not going to switch a title, they're going to switch the world championship. That's a big deal.
The WCW in their cockiness thought they were infallible and thought that was laughable that he would be champion. Well, guess what? You just shot yourself in the foot.
It was more about Nitro kind of staying true to its message, which is screw you, we're going to do this, we're irreverent, we're going to give a shit what the rules are. Was it the most brilliant thing I've ever done? Probably not.
And what should have been a huge night for WCW turned into a huge night for WWE.
Mick Foley had become an A-list talent on sports entertainment's #1 program. In the months that followed, WWE would continue its surging popularity by pairing together 2 of Monday Night Raw's most recognizable faces. We
were polar opposites. And that later made for that great teaming together.
I don't want to go down in history as a hardcore legend. I want to be known from here on in as one half of the greatest tag team in WWF history, The Rock and Sock Connection.
But the Rock and Sock Connection made a great team because there were two legitimate world title holders, huge stars in their own right, but you had this one holier than thou type, I'm very cool and everybody else is beneath me, and Nick was like the buffoon.
You are exactly 20 minutes away. I know Rock means 20 minutes!
Oh, you idiot!
The Rock and Sock Connection, what an odd couple. They had that dynamic where it was two guys who were able to play off of each other, and they were so different that when they did get together, you wanted to watch and see how it worked.
You just go out there, watch The Rock do what he does best, that's lay the SmackDown, and then when The Rock needs you to do do the sock gimmick, do that gimmick when The Rock calls for it. That's it, Mr. Socko.
The pairing of The Rock and Mick Foley allowed both superstars to showcase their versatility, and their dynamic chemistry helped Monday Night Raw maintain its lead in the ratings heading into the fall of 1999.
It was a nice dynamic between us. Mick was still able to exercise those comedic timing muscles and those entertaining muscles, and it was a pleasure to work with him and to be his partner.
If you smell what The Rock is cooking. Can I keep the shirt? And in case you're wondering, you sicko, things between me and The Rock are strictly platonic.
All of this stuff with the Rock and Sock Connection, it would just be like a snowball rolling downhill. It just kept getting bigger and bigger.
Somebody's birthday or something? I don't know. It might be.
The chemistry between WWE's most charismatic duo would lead to Monday Night Raw's most memorable off-the-cuff segment.
This is Big Rock. This is important. As a matter of fact, this is your life.
We had so much fun doing This Is Your Life. It was one of the greatest nights ever. Nick proceeds to bring out my football coach.
Rock, I'd like to take that whistle you got, that very whistle you just put to your lips. Shine it up real nice.
That's nice.
Turn that sumbitch sideways and stick it straight up your KDA.
They asked me what was expected, and I said, The Rock will say something, I'll say something. Like that. No, we didn't go over a single thing. It was so disorganized to the point where you can actually see that the names I am calling out are not the names on the graphics.
Your 6th grade home economics teacher, Mrs. Betty Griffin.
Home economics? No, it says they're English teacher.
Largely acknowledged as the woman, Betty, over this way. Betty.
I knew how Vince was with time. Vince said, how long is this going to go on? Are you nuts? They're out there 20 minutes, this, that, and the other thing. And I was like, I didn't say anything because I knew he was pissed off, but I knew it was good.
The fans have been wanting it. They've been asking for it, and now they have Mr. Rocco.
I was upset because the segment went forever, and I thought it was good, but I didn't think it was that good.
Naturally, The Rock is appreciative to all of his fans, but to you, The Rock's birthday is May 2nd, you stupid son of a bitch.
It wasn't until the next day, The Rock tapped me on the shoulder, and he said, "Did you hear about the rating?" And I guess we all paid attention to the ratings, going head-to-head with WCW. Nobody wanted to be part of that segment that lost viewers. And I said, "What? How did we do?" And when he gave me the number, it didn't seem possible.
Watched by over 9 million viewers, This Is Your Life was one of the highest-rated segments in the history of Monday Night Raw. Mick Foley had used his versatility to climb to the top of WWE.
Oh, God! Mankind just mutilated that chair with the back of his head.
But the years of physical punishment had taken their toll on sports entertainment's most reckless superstar.
My body was just telling me it's time to go. I was literally forgetting where I lived, so I went in and told Mr. McMahon, I'm having trouble remembering things, and he just said to them, "You've just had your last match."
Mick Foley would be forced to step away from the spotlight.
Thanks for the great memories, buddy. Godspeed, Mick Foley.
But his passion for sports entertainment had paid dividends for WWE, who successfully defeated World Championship Wrestling in the Monday Night War in March of 2001.
That's why they're on the Monday Night War. If Foley comes on, you know, okay, this guy's going to do something crazy, and I don't want to miss it. There wasn't anything that Mick Foley wasn't willing to do.
Mick Foley's successful journey was an improbable story, a cast-off who defied the odds and lifted both himself and WWE to the top of sports entertainment.
He wrote the template of exactly what you're supposed to do and how you're supposed to get into the business. He went to WCW and then ECW, and he finally made it to the WWE, and he was, at that time, the most exciting guy, whether people knew it or not. And he was going to, start a fire that couldn't be put out.
I love stories like that. Stories of guys who truly enjoy it, grow up fans, love the industry, and find a way to be successful. And Mick is one of those guys.
Damn it, leave. That just really is Mick Foley, a big, lovable Muppet that will go to incredible lengths with no regard for his body to entertain you. Doesn't matter where you're at, Mick Foley's going to go out there and do his damnedest to have the best match he can on that card. That's the kind of guy he is.
He was going to give you everything he had, even if it put him out. WCW did not have that on their roster.
We would do things for the audience that no one else would do, and we would give of ourselves completely 100%, and Mick did that. That helped define the attitude in us. It's what we were as a business.
Had there not been a Monday Night War, I don't think I would have been pushed to constantly create, to better myself and push myself to make that connection with the audience. It definitely brought out the best in me and probably the best in just about everyone.
Standing ovation for Mick Foley.
To this day, I do not consider myself a leading man. I was a supporting actor. If other people want to disagree with me, they can. I'm not claiming I wasn't an important supporting actor, but it was one of those great memorable roles.